Morning, all. It's Nerd Mom here, Jackie. I have a little rant, and I have to say, well, I'm smiling now. I was so angry last night. You can't even imagine. And it's all about SOPA. Start with, I am personally one of those people who just chooses to not participate in a lot of like corporate blackouts, strikes, whatever. It's the backlash from being raised around the Southern Baptist Convention. So when the blackout day for SOPA came, I didn't participate in it because I just generally don't participate in those things. I think that SOPA is a bad thing. It's criminalizing a civil offense, which there's already legal ramifications to violating copyright laws. There's already things that people can do. There's just so many reasons I think SOPA is bad. I was sick as a dog around the blackout day, so that's kind of why I didn't post anything about it. I had plans, but the wonderful bronchitis and sinus infection I came home from CES with kind of took priority. But all that to say, I think SOPA is bad. I already thought SOPA was bad. I can get into the full breakdown of why SOPA is horrible. But there's a little part of me that says the MPAA is pushing for all the protection they can get. It's not necessarily their job to consider the freedoms of the United States. It is the government's, and to pass SOPA would be that they'd be violating that. But I didn't necessarily fault the MPAA, Hollywood, the music industry per se. I just thought they were pushing it too far. That wasn't until Chris Dodd really I became aware of some of the idiotic, moronic things that jerk's saying. Yeah, I'm a little angry. Leading up to the whole SOPA thing, he made the comment, those who count on, quote, Hollywood for support need to understand that this industry is watching very carefully. Who's going to stand up for them when their job is at stake? Don't ask me to write a check for you when you think your job is at risk, and don't pay any attention to me when my job is at stake. Yeah, we call it his job as a lobbyist, which is technically illegal for him to have. This is a man who went from being in the Peace Corps to law school, House of Representatives to Senate. He's done nothing but government. Now that he's left the Senate, it's too recent from having left the Senate for him technically to be allowed to be a lobbyist. So they just kind of hired him on. I want to say it was like he's technically CEO or something along those lines. But when you start talking about money you're withholding or giving to campaigns, how is that not lobbying? So, okay, so, the money plea of you want my money, you should do what I want you to do. I mean, I understand it, but I think it's stupid. And I do think it was Chris Dodd voicing publicly that he's using lobbying money. But that's not what just really, as I think Paula Deen would say, buttered my biscuits. It was his discussion of the blackout that really bothered me. To start with, you talk about a pompous idiot to begin with. On the blog over at the MPAA, he wrote, and tell me that he's not trying to use and abuse his former senator title, because not only does this article on the MPAA blog says by Senator Chris Dodd, it also says Senator Dodd on irresponsible developments on Blackout Day. And it says, only days after the White House and chief sponsors of legislation responded to the major concern expressed by opponents and then called for all parties to work together cooperatively, some technology business interests are resorting to stunts that punish their users or turn them into their corporate pawns rather than coming to the table to find solutions to a problem that all now seem to agree is very real and damaging. It is an irresponsible response and a disservice to people who rely on them for information and use their services. It's also an abuse of power given the freedoms these companies enjoy in the marketplace today. It is a dangerous and troubling development when the platforms that serve as gateways to information intentionally skew the facts to incite their users in order to further their corporate interest. The so-called blackout is yet another gimmick, albeit a dangerous one, designed to punish elected and administration officials who are working diligently to protect American jobs from foreign criminals. It's our hope that the White House and the Congress will call on those who intend to stage this blackout to stop the hyperbole and PR stunts and engage in meaningful efforts to combat piracy. Really? Really, you pompous, self-grandizing ass? I mean, there's so many reasons this makes me angry. It makes me angry because let's not forget it was 5 minutes ago that he was saying he was going to wield the lobbying power he had to help people get elected or not get elected depending on how they voted. But this idea that what is on the internet is for the government to regulate and we are now doing a service. I am not a cop. I am not an air traffic controller. What I do does not influence public safety. It is my private enterprise. If I want to pull my blog down, I sure the hell will, and the government has nothing to say about it. Now, I mean, I love blogging and I love what I do. So I obviously don't have any plans on disappearing from the blogosphere. But these are private companies. Yeah, me, Nerd Mom, the Nerd Family blogs, they're nothing. If I choose to pull them down and black out, nobody cares. But you know what? Wikipedia is a free service. Nobody has a right to Wikipedia. If Wikipedia decides to pull down their site in social protest, that is their right. Their privilege as members of the United States to do this. This is not China. We won't even get into the fact of when China was cited as a good example for SOPA and the whole idea of this isn't really about foreign, this is the idea that we're going to pull down sites and then you have to prove to us that you should be allowed to put it back up. We're not even going to get into all that. We're going to talk about the fact that the freedoms they enjoy today. What exactly are you planning, ex-Senator Chris Dodd? I mean, this just infuriates me. His elitist idea that he, can exert this influence over our government. But at the same time, if we want to exercise our rights as business owners to make a statement in any way we so see fit, that he has the right to say how wrong it is and how we are basically screwing the public who has a right to our services? I think not. I cannot believe that, of course, I can't believe that the legislation got as far as it did, and it is not gone. The threat is not gone of SOPA. It's just been backbenched for a while. But the idea that Chris Dodd, who, once again, let me point out, is not legally allowed to act like a lobbyist, has the right to influence, yet we, as American citizens, don't. And as business owners, don't. I find this utterly ridiculous and utterly disrespectful. I don't know whether or not to be shocked enough that he said it in public, or that he thinks it's true, or the fact that he said it in public and I'm not hearing a ton of backlash about it. I don't know which one of those three things makes me angrier. But this is ridiculous. Not only does this show how much things like SOPA needs to be stopped, but also the fact that the mentality of the services provided by the internet, be them free or charged, are still private business and private enterprise, and we have the rights to be treated as such. I just cannot believe the pomposity of some of the people playing in this game. So there's my morning rant. How do you feel about SOPA? Were you familiar with it before the blackout day? Did the blackout day affect you as far as your view or just your daily life? Have you contacted your representatives to let them know that they need to keep their mitts off the internet? There shouldn't be a switch where any politician can flip it off. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on YouTube, and have a great day. Bye.